Good morning Year 8 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Here's today's starter. The first question, can you write the inequality for x is greater than or equal to 1? So I want the inequality written for when x is greater than or equal to 1. Can you then do 4/5 divided by 2/7? Can you solve x plus 7 equals -2? And if x is greater than 3, what are 5 possible values of x? Pause the video and answer these questions in your light blue books now, please. Right, let's go through the answer. For x is greater than, we need to write the greater than symbol with the larger side next to the x. Or equal to, we need half an equal sign, 1. So that was your first answer. For the second one, we're going to do keep, flip, change. So I keep my first fraction, I flip my second fraction over, and I change my sign. 4 times 7 gives me 28 on the top. 5 times 2 gives me 10 on the bottom. I can then divide top and bottom by 2, which will give me 14 over 5. Or, Libby, if I wanted to write that as a mixed number, what would it be? 2 and 4/5, very wise. To solve the equation, I need to get x on its own, and to do this, I need to subtract 7 from both sides, which Logan gives me x equal to what? -9, indeed. And for the last question, if x is greater than 3, what are 5 possible values of x? Well, we haven't got the equal sign in there, so we know it can't be 3. But it could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 7, it could be 8, etc, etc. It could be a million. Let's head into today's lesson. We're going to start off with a quick recap of representing inequalities on a number line. And I said when we've got a filled in circle, that means that number is included. When we've got an empty circle, that means that number is not included, it's excluded. For example, if I wanted to represent x is greater than 1, I know I'm not including that 1 because I haven't got the equal sign, so I need an empty circle on the 1. I then know x is greater than it, so it could be any of these numbers that are greater than 1, so my arrow points this way. If I've got x is less than or equal to -1, in the same way I start by drawing my circle on the -1. This time it's less than or equal to, so I can fill it in, so I know that number is included. And for less than, I need the arrow to point this way, to the numbers lower than -1. Over to you, Year 8. In your light blue books, please pause the video for a couple of minutes and answer these 2 questions for me. Right, let's go through the answers. This time I've got x is greater than 2, so I need an empty circle on the 2. Why is it empty, Jonas? Because it's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. Brilliant. So we're not including the number 2. However, we are including all the numbers that are greater than 2. For the second example, I've got x is less than or equal to 4, so I need a filled in circle on my 4 and an arrow going this way, indicating all the numbers that are less than 4. Over to you, Year 8. Please pause the video for 5 minutes and have a go at these questions for me. I need you to match these inequalities to the number lines. Pause the video and complete that in your light blue books now, please. And these are the answers. A matches with J, B matches with I, and C matches with E. Please check your work and see how you did. Okay, so we're confident if I've got x is less than 3, I know I need an empty circle because I'm not including the 3 on my 3, and I need an arrow pointing this way, indicating all the numbers that are less than 3. So if I have to list 3 possible integers, looking at my number line, I can't include 3 because it's an empty circle, but I could have 2, I could have 1, I could have 0, I could have -1. All of those are possible integers. Sometimes you're going to get an inequality that looks like this. Notice we've got this x is less than 3 on the right hand side. So in the same way we still need an empty circle on the 3. However, we now have another constraint. We've been told that x is also greater than or equal to -2. So this means I need a circle on my -2. It could be equal to -2, so we fill it in. And then we draw a line connecting those two circles to indicate it could be any of the numbers in between. So for possible integers, I could have -2 this time. I could have -1. I can have 0. I can have 1. I can have 2, but I cannot have 3. Over to you, Year 8. In your light blue books or mini whiteboards, please start by showing me x is less than 4 on a number line and list me 3 possible integers. Pause the video and complete that now, please. Right, let's go through it. We need a circle on the 4. We know it's less than 4 but not equal to, so it's an empty circle. And we need all the numbers that are less than 4, so the arrow points this way. Possible integers could be 3, 2, 1, 0, etc, etc, etc. Can you now change your diagram, Year 8, and show me x is less than 4 but greater than or equal to 1, and list me 3 possible integers. Pause the video for a couple of minutes and have a go at that in your light blue books now. Right, let's go through it. In the same way, I've still got this empty circle on the 4 because we're less than or equal to 4. Sorry, just less than 4, not equal to it. However, we now know that x is greater than or equal to 1. So I need a filled-in circle on my 1 and a line joining the 2. Possible integer values, it could be equal to 1, so 1's a good one. I can have 2, I can have 3, but I cannot have 4 because it's an empty circle on the 4. Okay, Year 8, please pause the video. Show me n is less than or equal to 4 on a number line. N, I've just substituted the x for an n, doesn't change anything, just use it in the same way. And then can you list me 3 possible integers? Pause the video and have a go at that now, please. Right, let's go through it. This time we're less than or equal to 4, so I need a filled-in circle on my 4 and an arrow pointing this way. This means n could be 4, it could be 3, it could be 2, it could be 1, etc, etc. Okay, Year 8, please now adapt your diagram to show me this one, please. Pause the video for a couple of minutes and have a go at that now. Okay, so we've still got this filled-in circle on the 4, but now we've got another constraint. N has got to be greater than 1. So I need a circle on my 1. It can't be equal to 1, so it's an empty circle. We join them up, and listing 3 integers, we know it can't be 1, but it could be 2, it could be 3, or it could be 4. One more for me, Year 8. On your mini whiteboards or in your light blue books, please show me p is less than or equal to 0 and list me 3 possible integers. Pause the video and have a go at that now, please. Okay, so we're less than or equal to 0, so I need a filled-in circle. We're heading in this direction because we're getting smaller. So this time p could be 0, it could be -1, it could be -2, it could be -3, etc. Okay, Year 8, please now adapt your diagram to show me this one. Pause the video for a couple of minutes and have a go at that now. Okay, so we've still got p is less than or equal to 0. However, we now know that p is also greater than or equal to -3. So we need another filled-in circle here. We can connect up the two, and then we can work out some integer values. This time I could have -3 because it's greater than or equal to. I could have -2, I could have -1, and I could have 0 because it's less than or equal to 0. Over to you, Year 8, in your light blue books now. Please pause the video for 10 to 15 minutes and have a go at these questions for me. And these are the answers I was looking for. Please check your work and see how you did. Okay, I'm going to look at finding the possible values again. This time I've got x is 4 and greater than 1, so we're going straight into this double inequality. I know I need a circle on my 4 and a circle on my 1. Both of those circles are empty because it's not equal to either 1 or 4. If we join them up, the only possible values I can have got to be, sorry about that, the only possible values I can have for this inequality, I can't have 1, I can't have 4, but I can have these two in between, so I can have 2 or 3. If I've got 1 and x is greater than or equal to 1, I've now got a filled-in circle on my 1, an empty circle on my 4. If I join them up, the only values I can have now, I can have 1 because it's filled in, 2, 3, but I still cannot have 4. Over to you, Year 8. In your light blue books or your mini whiteboards, can you draw me -1 is less than x is less than 4, and -1 is less than or equal to x and less than 4 on two separate number lines, and then can you list the possible values for each of these inequalities? Pause the video and complete that now, please. Right, let's go through it. We know we need an empty circle on the -1 and an empty circle on the 4 because we haven't got any equal to's. If we join those up, we know it can't be -1 and it can't be 4, but it could be any of these values in between. So x could be 0, it could be 1, it could be 2, and it could be 3. For the second question, I've got a less than or equal to, so I can fill that one in. I still need an empty circle on my 4. If I join those two up, I now know that x could be -1, 0, 1, 2, or 3. We can now include -1 because we've got this less than or equal to sign in there. Over to you, Year 8. In your light blue books, please pause the video for a few minutes and have a go at these two questions. The bottom one's an extension question. The top one, can you show it on a number line? And then can you show me what integer values x could take? Pause the video and have a go at that now, please. And these are the answers. Please check your work and see how you did. Well done if you got the extension question right. And finally, Year 8, please pause the video and have a go at these three questions for me in your light blue books. This should take you roughly 10 minutes. Off you go. And these are the answers I was looking for. Please check your work and see how you did. That's the end of today's lesson. Please head on over to Google Classroom and submit today's exit ticket. Have a wonderful day and thank you for listening. Goodbye.